What is up, my fellow andronauts? I'm going to show you exactly why Viagra or Cialis stops working. Now, you know the mechanism how Cialis or Viagra works is by inhibiting the enzyme PDE5. And PDE5 breaks down one of the molecules that induces vasodilation. So the more PDE5 you have, the less vasodilation you will have. And so over time, Cialis or Viagra can stop working the way it should. And then it feels like you're never going to be able to get an erection again. And I'm going to show you exactly why this happens. By the way, if you would like to optimize your erections quickly, I have a course on how to solve ED. Link is in the description below. Let's dive into this video. All right, so quick background as to how this whole nitric oxide cascade works for erections. So we have the neurons or endothelium that releases nitric oxide. Nitric oxide acts on this guanylyl cyclase, and then that creates cyclic GMP. And now you have this PDE5 enzyme that breaks cyclic GMP down. So cyclic GMP is vasodilatory. PDE5 breaks it down, causes vasoconstriction. So PDE5 inhibitors inhibit this enzyme, so you have more cyclic GMP that can then allow for vasorelaxation and getting better erections. So how this whole thing works is that the reason why Viagra becomes less effective over time is because you end up with less PDE5. Now think about it. When you have less PDE5, there is no more PDE5 for Viagra to bind to, so that makes it ineffective. But you might think like low PDE5 is actually a good thing, right? But I'm going to show you why not and why this happens. So low nitric oxide leads to low PDE5. So this was an animal study where they made a genetic mutation where they eliminated the nitric oxide synthase enzymes. So this was eNOS, the endothelial nitric oxide synthase. This was nNOS, neural nitric oxide synthase, and then they had a combination of both. So one group was just control, then they have an eNOS elimination group, a nNOS elimination group, and then a combo of the two. And you can see the cyclic GMP levels of them. So when you eliminate the eNOS, you actually have higher levels of cyclic GMP. So multiple studies have actually shown that you do not actually need eNOS for proper erections, but what you actually need is nNOS. So if you eliminate nNOS, cyclic GMP drops massively, but also the PDE5 drops massively when you eliminate both, but more so in nNOS than eNOS. And again, here you can see that the combination was the most effective at lowering PDE5 and then also lowering cyclic GMP. So when you have less cyclic GMP, you don't have as much vasodilation. And so the best way to increase PDE5 to become responsive again to Viagra is to actually increase your nitric oxide. So the same thing happens when they inhibit nitric oxide synthase. And so basically inhibiting nitric oxide synthase reduces PDE5 levels without affecting the guanylyl cyclase. So cyclic GMP levels doesn't really change, but PDE5 drops when you inhibit nitric oxide synthase. Boosting nitric oxide does the opposite. So increasing nitric oxide reverses the decrease in PDE5. So nitric oxide and PDE5 seems to go in this same way. So when nitric oxide drops, PDE5 drops. When nitric oxide increases, PDE5 increases as well. And this is why people don't respond to Viagra, because PDE5 drops. And when there's no PDE5 to inhibit, you're not going to respond to that specific compound. So the same thing basically happens with finasteride. When you have no 5-alpha reductase, finasteride is not going to do anything because alpha reductase is already like 100% methylated, so it's not going to do anything. Obviously, finasteride by itself can also cause other side effects. I have a different video on this, on exactly why finasteride causes side effects. Anyway, so low nitric oxide caused by uncoupled nitric oxide synthase leads to low cyclic GMP and then low PDE5. This either contributes to priapism or complete unresponsive to PDE5 inhibitors. So when nitric oxide drops, cyclic GMP drops and PDE5 drops. Low cyclic GMP means there's no vasodilation, and then the low PDE5 means you will be unresponsive to Viagra. So the only way to really circumvent this is to increase nitric oxide and lower oxidative stress, which I will discuss in just a moment. So why nitric oxide becomes uncoupled? So this is the coupled state of nitric oxide synthase. It creates nitric oxide from arginine using a cofactor called BH4. This is the uncoupled state, where instead of producing nitric oxide, it produces superoxide, which is a free radical. Superoxide can react with nitric oxide, and excess nitric oxide is actually also a free radical. And when they react with each other, they create peroxynitrite. And so all of these can cause oxidative stress, which depletes BH4 and creates BH2. And when you have low BH4, this basically uncouples nitric oxide synthase. Or when you're in a high oxidative state, it uncouples nitric oxide synthase, creating more superoxide, kind of like in this vicious loop. So ideally, you want it coupled, high BH4 creating nitric oxide, not low BH4 or high BH2 creating superoxide. So this is the uncoupled state, why someone might have low nitric oxide. So basically, low nitric oxide is caused by oxidative stress and insufficient cofactors like BH4. And then BH4 is recycled with zinc, potassium, magnesium, vitamin B2, B3, B6, folate, and B12. This is how you recycle BH4. Now you've got to make sure your oxidative stress is low, because BH4 is actually also an antioxidant. So when oxidative stress is high, it will deplete your BH4. So it's really multifactorial. So on the flip side, oxidative stress can also upregulate PDE5, and a few compounds that can do that, cause this kind of oxidative stress in the penis, include SSRIs, finasteride, and other drugs or environmental toxins. So for example, what SSRIs do, and the reason why people get ED from SSRI use, is because it causes dysfunction in the enzymes in the penis that contributes to erections, and one of them being the PDE5 pathway. So it upregulates PDE5 while downregulating nitric oxide. So you have low nitric oxide, low cyclic GMP, high PDE5, and so you can't get an erection because there's too little cyclic GMP. But if you use very high doses of Viagra or Cialis, you can inhibit PDE5 to start becoming responsive to the little bit of nitric oxide you do have. But if you have low PDE5, then you will not be able to respond to Viagra because there is no enzyme to inhibit because it's already low. So low nitric oxide and cyclic GMP and high PDE5 also contributes to erectile dysfunction. So as you can see, high PDE5 or low PDE5 both can contribute to ED. But if it's high, you might be responsive to Cialis or Viagra. If it's low, you're going to be unresponsive. So how to fix this? Consume a nutrient-dense diet. Get all of your vitamins and minerals necessary for nitric oxide production, BH4 recycling, lowering oxidative stress, and preventing nitric oxide synthase uncoupling. This is basically how you fix it. And then also you can increase nitric oxide and take antioxidants. So you provide a precursor, namely arginine or citrulline. Then you can take an antioxidant, like a plant antioxidant, such as pycnogenol, vitamin C, quercetin, polyphenols, many of the aphrodisiac herbs, including Inclonia cava, tonka talichua, Blistrestes, maca. They have antioxidant benefits that will help to have like a nitric oxide sparing effect. And then also animal-based antioxidants. The foods example is eggs, oysters, meat, organ meat, and dairy. These foods are very rich in animal-specific antioxidants and also peptides that prevent inflammation, prevent oxidative stress, has anti-hypertensive effects. So it really improves the health of the penis so you can get better erections. And so this is basically how you fix it, how you increase nitric oxide, because higher nitric oxide will help with increasing PDE5 so that you can become responsive to the Cialis again. So there you have it. Some people can use Cialis or Viagra for literally 20 years and stay responsive to it, but over time you might notice you need to use more and more and more to get the same benefit. And the reason for this is because either you're producing less nitric oxide and you're having less cyclic GMP, and or your PDE5 is dropping, because when nitric oxide is dropping, PDE5 will drop. So the less PDE5 you have, the less responsive you will be to Cialis. There's no enzyme to inhibit. So the solution is to inhibit your oxidative stress and to enhance the production of nitric oxide. But don't just use nitrites or stuff that boost nitric oxide. You want to make sure that you take antioxidants as well to enhance the bioavailability of the nitric oxide. It has a nitric oxide sparing effect, because as I mentioned, that nitric oxide can bind with superoxide. Both of them are free radicals and create peroxynitrite. So you make sure your free radicals is low to keep your nitric oxide levels high for proper vasodilation and erections. So as I mentioned, if you would like to maximize your erections quick, I have a course on that. Link is in the description below. And I hope you learned something new in this video, and I will check you in the next one. Cheers, guys.